Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. After weeks of speculations about whether Raila Odinga was going to lead his party ODM into the government, it has finally come to pass. And many people have now branded Raila a man of handshakes. He did it with the late President Mwai Kibaki when he became a prime minister. He had a handshake with Uhuru Kenyatta, and now there is another handshake with William Samoei Ruto. Many people are saying, in fact, we've got mixed reactions. There are those people who are saying that Raila is an opportunist, and that, in fact, many are saying that ametuuza. Some feel that he is a sellout. But others are saying that Raila is a statesman and he will stand up to be counted when the country is in a political nightmare, a political turmoil. Let me ask you, especially if you voted for Raila, what do you think about that move? Because they're saying ODM has really reaped big because 4 of the ODM brigades have been appointed. And therefore, that is Opio and I. We have Joho, Oparanya, and of course, the man at the helm of Treasury. What do you think about it? Has Raila betrayed you, and why? And has Raila betrayed the Gen Zs, and why? And should Gen Zs now stop because Raila has gotten into parliament? The reason I'm asking is because the last time I checked, Gen Zs were and still remain partyless, they still remain leaderless, they still remain partyless, and of course I heard William Ruto saying that they are also formless. Should they stop simply because Raila has gotten into government? Raila is not their leader. So we are in a political environment and a situation where I have a feeling that each and every person must pursue their cause. Raila has got his democratic right, and I know many people are used to Raila making decisions that are pro-people. He reads the mood and he will go by the mood of the people. This time round, Raila has made a decision that goes against the will of the people. You all know by now that William Ruto went to Raila and sold him this narrative that it is his deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, who is plotting to overpower him or overturn him under the guise of Gen Zs. The question that is lingering in many people's minds is, if William Ruto is cornered to an extent that he runs away or he resigns, who takes over? Now, if you ask lawyers that question, they will tell you a very obvious answer. Depending on which side they want to support, they say the law is very clear. Those who believe that if William Ruto exits power, they go together with Rigathi Gachagua, his deputy, because they were elected together, will tell you that the law is very clear. They need to go together because they are joined at the hip. They were elected together. The presidency. And in fact, they even add and say that if William Ruto goes, especially according to what the Gen Zs want, is that he goes together with the entire government, including his appointees into the state corporations, ambassadors, cabinet, and all that. But there's another school of thought that will also tell you that the law is very clear. That if William Ruto resigns, that is himself and his decision, it does not tie his deputy. And they'll tell you that the deputy will continue. I want to jog your mind, your memory. In 2017, after David Maraga, the former Chief Justice, nullified Uhuru's victory, Raila, Kalonzo, and the NASA members said they had pulled out from the race, and they said the law was very clear that if they pull out, then automatically there will be no elections, because there was no way Uhuru was going to run against himself. But Uhuru and his deputy then, William Ruto, said that if Raila is tired, if Raila has sensed defeat, if Raila has decided that he's not going to contest, then that was his choice. With them, they said they were ready. And they went to that election and they were elected. So it's the scenario that we find ourselves in. But in this video, I wanted us to look at how William Ruto has managed the political class, the leaders. And I want us to start with Mount Kenya. Immediately, William Ruto dissolved his cabinet. Mount Kenya started running riot. And they were saying that their positions, the 8 slots, should never be touched. And William Ruto listened to them. Because in their mind, they thought William Ruto would reduce their numbers and give it to other regions. Remember, led by Rigathi Gachagua, they have always said that this is a government of shareholders and they have got 60%. They say they gave William Ruto 3.5 million votes, and therefore that must be respected. And that must be reciprocated by maintaining their numbers. So what did William Ruto do? He maintained the positions to Mount Kenya. With that, William Ruto knew very well that he was going to form this government of national unity, and he was gagging them. He was blocking them from trying to be angered because they had secured their slots. In the first nominees that William Ruto read, the 11 members, Mount Kenya had, I think, about 6. And people were asking why he was accusing Rigathi Gachagua of trying to topple him. At the same time, he gives them back what they demanded for. But now I understand that he was doing that so that in the event that he was going to bring in more other names, they were not going to complain because they had been given their slots. So they were settled. They were not going to complain. Even if they complain, then the rest of the country was going to tell them, you've been given your slots. So he managed Mount Kenya. If they complain beyond that, then people would tell them, you're selfish. Number 2, when he dissolved that cabinet, he left Mudavadi to remain as the chief minister to coordinate the affairs, because that cabinet could not just be without any person. By doing that, lawyers were very happy. The sons and daughters of Mulembe were very happy that our son has now been appointed the minister in all the other dockets. And with that, you know that even in the Ministry of Health, when Nahumincha was shown the door, they brought Baraza, Nancy Baraza, the one that has also been accused of non-compliance. But then the sons of Mulembe were very happy that Mudavadi was there. He's the chief minister, so they were not going to complain, because even their one slot, apart from the health, was given back to them. So they were not going to make a lot of noise. Then you all know that it is Raila Amolo Odinga who complained about the mess in the energy docket, where they accused Churchill of making deals and making a kill in the government-to-government oil deal. And people have always said that docket is so lucrative that it could have not been, Ruto was not going to abandon it to anyone. And so William Ruto decided to beat Kenyans in their own game. He relinquished that position to Raila's man. And many questions are still being asked. Will they talk about the rot in that ministry? Will Opiyo and I make changes? Because he has been given that very delicate docket. That is the place that had been in the headlines. And then by doing that, William Ruto also relinquished that of Treasury. And I know that's a very prestigious ministry. There's no one from Nyanza that has held it. No, Nyachai I think once did, but from the lakeside, there isn't anyone who has come close to it. I think Oburu Odinga in the handshake, Oburu, when Raila had a handshake with Kibaki, was an assistant minister, yeah, in the treasury. But now John Mbadi takes over as the full general. There's been a lot of complaints. I remember Machogu, the former cabinet secretary of education, complained that whenever he writes letters to the Ministry of Finance to release capitation fee, they ignore. So that has gone to John Mbadi. And John Mbadi has been complaining in Parliament about the rot in government. Now he has been given that. I don't know whether it is a poisoned chalice. I don't know. Because to that effect, Raila has been gagged and he will not talk about those mess. Not unless Opiyo and I and Joho and Oparanya and John Mbadi makes changes that are positive that Kenyans are going to look at and say we can see changes. But if you ask me, you cannot criticize the very hands that feed you. Many are saying that if anything, that was Raila's victory that was robbed from him, and so he's got every right of getting into government. But the question is, why ODM alone? It is because the others decided. You remember Eugene saying, I'm not boarding. Kalonzo said, no, I'm not boarding with you. Martha said, Ruto is not even my president. And that is why they were left behind. And others feel that people like Eugene Wamalwa are being pushed by Uhuru Kenyatta, who is a very annoyed man about Ruto, owing to the fact that they fell out even before the elections, and the persecution that he met immediately William Ruto took over, frustrating his mother, frustrating his son, banning their Northland farm, such kind of things. And you see, they are being accused. There are people who are accusing Uhuru Kenyatta as the man behind Gen Z's protest. I don't know. So people like Eugene are believed to be working on behalf of Uhuru. Uhuru is pushing them. It is on record that Uhuru called William Ruto, called Raila Odinga, and told him, don't take any cabinet slots. But I think Raila, after second thought, he wants to show the African Union Commission that I'm a peacemaker. I've made peace with William Ruto. He took my victory, but we can still work together. I don't know whether still connect this to being magnanimous, a statesman. I don't know. But with that, you've seen the way people are very happy. And that gave William Ruto an opportunity to bring back people like Murkomen, because who is going to complain? He has sealed that deal because he really wanted not to let go of people like Murkomen. And let me tell you something that you must know. William Ruto will bring all his people back because now he's got the backing of Raila Odinga. Whether Raila has betrayed you or not, whether Raila has done the right thing or not, there's one thing that we must say. Gen Zs must continue with their fight because Raila is not their leader. The Gen Zs don't belong to ODM alone. They are there as people who are connected by the mere fact that the generation has decided that they want to liberate the country. So they must continue with their cause. and let Raila also continue this course. He's got his democratic rights. The reason I'm saying this is whether we criticize Raila up to tomorrow, we need to look and focus our eyes on the ball, because Raila does not own the country. There's no need complaining about him now that he's in the government. If anything, he has really suffered. These people were killed, and I think he has decided, let me just do it. The last one, many people still feel that Uhuru Kenyatta failed to give Raila his victory when it was due. And so he cannot complain of being betrayed. You know, Uhuru does not want anyone going to this government. He wanted William Ruto to roast himself. He wanted William Ruto to suffer. But then Raila cannot take that, because there are some people are saying he betrayed Raila. He would have given Raila, he had the sword. Of course, it is a discussion that we can do up to tomorrow, because Meg Whitman was there, the American influence. But some people still feel that if he had stood very firm, nothing would have happened. He would have ensured that rigging was not done. And that will be it. And so, ladies and gentlemen, William Ruto has settled the Mulembe Nation. He has settled the central Mount Kenya. He has settled the lakeside. And of course, the political class is very happy. But Gen Zs are a worried lot, and they have said they're going back to the streets. I don't know what you think.